Welcome back everyone to Redstoning with Steve, and it's been quite a while, and that's mostly because I've just been busy in real life really. I've mostly been doing little things on the server and on my single player survival world, LP world, and haven't been able to kind of sit down and get a proper Redstoning with Steve out. And also I'm kind of strapped for ideas as well, but I thought this one would be a very good one, a very good general one, and a very good one for just survival, or at least, you know, survival with lots of redstone. um, and this one is called Advanced Farming, and we're going to go over a few different farms. And don't flame me in the comments this episode for saying, yeah, this is just impractical and why should I do this? Well, it's just really kind of trying to advance your redstone knowledge and trying to get you to think more about it, like basic things like farms, like how can you make them complicated and needlessly complicated, I guess, at times. But, you know, if something really helps you and really helps you out in your survival world, why not use it? And we're going to start off, as you can probably tell by my inventory, the melon farm. And it's been a staple since melons were introduced. I think it was what, 1.2-ish, roughly? I can't remember the exact update. This is a pretty basic melon farm. You know, you have your melons set up roughly like this, you know. Varies. You just hit it, they pop up, and, you know, you have to walk along and collect them and wait till they regrow every time. And, you know, it's pretty basic. You know, it's nothing wrong with that. But why not make it, well, I guess more complicated, but why not make it a bit more useful? And you come to this thing, and it looks bigger than it is. I've just put a lot of glass in because it helps the demonstration, and because it kept, the melon kept going everywhere, and it was a bit annoying. This is actually not as hard as it looks if you know your bud switches. And basically what this does is, when a melon grows on this one here, it updates this piston. You can see it's powered diagonally here. This piston pushes out to here. This line gets powered and turns this line off. And from the update from here, this piston retracts. So it's a T-bud. So we'll do that, and hopefully it isn't too loud. Turn the sound down a bit. There's a lot of pistons firing. You can see it. Not a T-bud, sorry, it's just it's a pulse bud. Not sure why I said T-bud. And what else happens is when it gets fired, first off, these retract. The reason I have pistons down here is because I'm an idiot and they're not necessary. I was actually going to try them with... Oh, that was silly by me, but whatever. I was actually going to try put pistons underneath when I realized it was a stupid idea. Basically what happens is... I don't need these either. Huh, what do you know? What happens is the dirt blocks get pulled back first, and then these top pistons push the melons down. In hindsight, top pistons pushing down on melons, bad idea. Much better to come up from below with sticky pistons, and a good design will be to push them up from below and then a quick pulse up and down, and then have the array, the top and bottom pistons retract, and then they fall down into the water stream below. And basically what this design does, if you can set up a couple of like arrays of this, and you can even hook them up to the same bud switch so you don't need as much wire. Basically what this does will, every time you walk past here, you should have a couple of melons you can just pick up, and you can just be on your way. So you'll have pretty much an infinite food source, and you will never have to click a lever ever again. And there it goes. The only problem is that this bud will fire randomly, but it doesn't really matter because who cares? I'll show you how that got there. Yeah, who cares, because it'll just push any melons in there anyway. So that's a bit of a design. Again, it's pretty impractical. It's crap design by me. I take full credit for that. I built this in about 5 minutes. And yeah, but you can kind of see the value in having something similar to this. But I don't recommend you build this in your world, guys. This is terrible. But yeah, let's have a look at another type of farm. I just wanted to quickly cover netherwort just because they are so closely related to melons, but netherwort farms are actually even easier. Um, they've kind of been crap since the dawn of time. You know, you usually have that array and you have to run around, pick them up, you know, the usual. But why haven't we been doing them like this? And this is a very simplistic example. And there we go. All one location. Very, very easy. Yep. Nothing too hard about that, but you know, it's pretty simple. Unfortunately, you can't do a bud switch in this one because netherwort updates a couple of times before being fully grown. But what you can do is set up, I don't know, an array of these with ice, and you can have as much netherwort as your heart desires. So yeah, not a very hard example, but just wanted to say. So this next one is kind of the opposite thinking to the melon farm. Usually with a melon farm, you hit the switch and all the melons come at once, and I change it so melons will come consistently. This is the opposite. Usually you have Cactus Farm set up to come consistently, but this one is the one all at once. First off, this is actually a great design for a Cactus Farm. I kind of just figured it out now. It's actually pretty good. 2 water buckets up there. Can be, oh yeah, it can be 1. We could have the water bucket here, but I didn't really worry too much because it is just a demo. This is the one for getting cactus all at once. There is another design involving double extenders that minimizes, you can see, oh no you can't, you can see how, I'll just check a redstone, stuff gets destroyed when it hits a cactus, and you can't have stuff next to cactus, obviously, because if I put a block next to this, it'll break. The problem being that it will break off and fall on itself and destroy itself. It can be remedied with double extenders, a demo which I may or may not chuck in at the end of the episode. I don't think we'll have time. If you really want it, I may build it somewhere here, check in the world download. But for now, did you know you can push transparent blocks with pistons? Signs won't work. I think fence gates are the only thing that works that are totally transparent, so meaning items will pass through them. Like items can't pass through glass, obviously. So this is the bud switch, so the fence gate activates it. So if we do this, and you can see they're not breaking. So this is the one if you want all your cactus at once, which is quite a nice design and very redstone efficient, but it is still pretty smart. Boom, all at once. And you can just sit here and collect your cactus. Not a bad design. I may do the one with double extenders, but we'll have to see. The next one we move on to is the tree farm, and I'm here in Bluewood because I've already built this, luckily. Fans of my LP will definitely know this, I know it very well. This is the tree farm. If I can show you how it works. In fact, I'll go to the jungle there a little bit less terrible. Alright, and you can see we've got the gravel stack here, and we've started a clock here. You can see the wood is pushed up into this sort of array, and I've got the pistons mucked up here somehow. Oh, that was silly of me, wasn't it? But it pushes it into a nice flat thing. You can put more pistons, push it into a cube. It's not too hard. And yeah, this just decays. No one really cares about it. So basically what's going on, it's very complicated, but I'll try and explain it in about 30 seconds. You step on this, when you step off this pressure plate, actually, it comes down here, goes to this, well, it's a monostable. It sets this RS NOR latch here, which actually pushes that piston into start the clock. This is a big long delay to reset the RS NOR latch, so this is a long delay monostable circuit. And what this RS NOR latch sets is this clock, which just cycles around the gravel and pushes it up. I happen to have this delay perfectly set up to push the wood just into here without pushing any gravel into here, and that has been a lot of trial and error. But yeah, just wanted to kind of show you this, that tree farms can be very very efficient. And basically what you do is you come along with your efficiency 4 axe and you just knock all this down, and there's no bother with having to plant trees and then having to bone meal them and chop them down. All you have to do is plant a bunch of them and then come back later when you need them and just knock down a huge cube of wood, and it's very, very useful. So thought I might show you that one, and yeah, we'll move on to the next one. Okay, I'll admit I just wanted to show this next one because it looked cool and because I think it's awesome, but it does kind of show the best way to wire an array of pistons. And basically you want to do row of repeaters, row of redstone, row of repeaters, row of redstone. And it's more trial and error, but basically you want to be using repeater to this block, and then repeater to this block, then have the redstone, and then have that powering the repeater below. And that is the absolute best way to power an array of pistons like this. But also cookie farm could be more efficient, I reckon. Oh, if only I didn't have this bit in here. Could be more efficient, but I just thought it was cool. Now the final farm we're going to cover today is, of course, the mob farm. And I couldn't really think of any way to make this better, to be honest, except to kind of make it more automated, I suppose. But mob farms have really been done to death. So if you've got your skeleton farm, and I'm an idiot. Now they're already burning. That's okay, whatever. This means some of them will die quicker, which isn't too much of an issue, to be honest. So there we go, all our skeletons. And it just crushes them like normal. And this is meant for, of course, just a mob grinder. Though it can be used for mob farms as well, if you wish. And then it drops all their items into a nice stack or into a water stream or wherever you want. So what's happening is it's just coming around, resetting our null latch and activating this technically a rising edge trigger, but just has to be any edge trigger that works to this one to pull out the block and push it back in and just drop all your items in a neat stack. But yeah, so what I hope you take out of this is that they annoy me, is that kind of, well, alright, a lot of these are pretty impractical and pretty, you know, you could be using a more simplistic design that does it, I guess, better. But yeah, stuff like this, it's just more for convenience. It just depends what you want. Stuff like this is just really cool, and I think it's awesome. And it does use redstone in this array here, and yeah, it just is really cool. I just love it. And stuff like this just makes stuff more automated. So you just, I hope you take out that you can use redstone just to make your life easier, really. Even if it takes you time to set it up and takes a lot of resources, you'll only ever have to set up the redstone once, and then it will work, if you set it up right, forever. Stuff like this, this is garbage, as I said, but this kind of idea can just make it easier. Just you can, whoop, yep, some food, yep, and go on my way. And you can have food ready at any time. If you set up a couple of these and a couple of buds, I reckon, one on each end would be nice. And you don't push it from the top down, that's bad. Don't do that, push it from the bottom up. But yeah, I just kind of want you to take out of this that, yeah, redstone makes people's lives easier, and it can be used for many practical uses. And I'm sorry for the longish episode, but we needed a little bit of a long one, first one back. Yeah, I kind of just ran through this episode. If you want to have a closer look at these farms, of course, world download. I hope I've got the name right. I'm pretty sure this is episode 4. I'd look pretty silly if it wasn't, but whatever. Yeah, so check out the world download and give me your ideas, guys. I want your ideas on what to feature. So this has been Redstoning with Steve, and I'll catch you next time, guys.